Welcome to This Week in the Division 2, your only source for all the news, posts, build guides and more. Let's be honest with each other. There are a shit ton of Division 2 YouTube videos released every week, far too many to keep up with them all. So don't, because I'm going to do it for you. In this video I'm going to run through every Division 2 video released this week. In the description below I will leave a link to every video I watch so that it's easy for you to go straight to the ones that interest you. And to make this video as easy as possible to use, here are the timestamps for each section. You can also use the chapters below to jump straight to them. Now, I didn't watch every live stream or Let's Play video, but there are too fucking many of them. But look out for the names of them all at the end of the video. The hype train for the Battle of Brooklyn DLC has definitely left the station, and many content creators left as well to visit Massive HQ in Malmo. Now a quick warning, there are no spoilers in this section, but there are creator face reveals, one of which will truly shock you. The creators are under an NDA until after the Battle for Brooklyn DLC reveal livestream, which is happening on April the 23rd. Two things have been leaked about the DLC already. Tom Henderson, the owner of Insider Gaming, reported that the DLC will be priced at $15 and will be released sometime towards the end of May. Sooner than we all thought, but later than we had all hoped. With all the delays to the DLC, you might be looking for a lore update, which Rogue Gold and Tuxedo Bandido have provided. Now, the content creators' trip to Massive HQ did not go down well with everyone. When you look at the roster of people there, it did include a lot of the biggest names like Nothing But Skills, Rogue Gold, NGN, DJ Tickle, and in the most shocking face reveal since Dream, the beardless Sergeant Greybeard. Yes, we've been lied to all these years, agents. But there were some noticeable omissions. Now maybe it's a coincidence that some of the creators who were most against the seasonal characters like Tuxedo Bandido and Identity were not invited. But I think the most important takeaway is that Massive are pinning a lot on the DLC, with more marketing effort and community interaction than we've seen in years. Speaking of community engagement, Massive did a good thing this week when they listened to the community about the excessive weak point grind in the Easter event and rewarded everyone with the named SVD, Handbasket. And in true Massive fashion, they fucked it up. Because unlike the Max Rolled one awarded with the event, this one's attributes were more like a story mode weapon. A fuss to cluck if ever there was one. You can farm for a better handbasket though, as it has been added to the Loot Goblin and the 8 other named items that he drops. While the game will be expanding soon with the DLC, DJ Tickle spotted this week that parts of the game has been deleted. If you have started a new character recently, you might have noticed that the opening tutorial has gone. Kenley College was open for business this week with its double XP. In his video, Died Again Gaming provided a step-by-step guide on how to farm XP in Kenley College, so I want to flag for the next time this rolls around. Now if you are on the fence about spending $15 on the Brooklyn DLC, I want to put it in perspective. If you buy the 2 new Apparel bundles that came out this week, it would cost you roughly $30. So this DLC is sounding like a bargain. The Apparel in question are okay, but nothing on what you can get in the Chinese version of the game. Virtual ZZ participated in a T-Rex only raid, and I can only imagine how funny it would have been to see them in action. What I did see though was a Legendary Tombs mission run, which has been added to that version of the game. Something I would love to see more of in our version. Finally, in this section, Dispatch put out a video on whether the seasonal modifiers have been good or not. In my opinion, the modifiers were brought into the game to attract new players, as they make the game more immediately accessible. They take away some of the difficulty, eliminating the expertise gap between new and veteran players. But as with many things in the Division 2, modifiers also have some issues, which Dispatch explores in detail. Before we get into all the videos, a quick aside. YouTube's algorithm is fucking weird. Run the same search twice and you'll get different answers, and I found some videos just didn't appear. The same goes with this video. If you don't subscribe, you might never see any episode of it ever again. In addition to the usual vendor reset and weekly scout videos, there were a couple of interesting guides for new players. Unknown 1z1 put out a video on how to max out expertise quickly, and Shinden Ninja explored some of the basics around weapon damage in a high production video. This didn't explore concepts like additive or multiplicative damage, or even the full damage calculation, but it is a good starter for someone wanting to know more. Rogold put out a video on farming for exotics using the same process that the Gaming Brigade flagged around a month ago. But a big question many people have been asking is whether the Handbasket is any good. Something that Wids and IKEA have looked at this week. And the answer is, like most things in the Division 2, yes and no. In IKEA's very detailed video, he also looked at the flavour of the month, the Turmoil knee pads. Now many people are saying that these are the new meta, while others that they are rubbish. And of course the answer is that both are correct, because the Turmoil knee pads are good in certain content, but a liability in others. Now I think this is where I'd like to see content creators be a little more transparent. Turmoil is good in missions and content where you know exactly where enemies will spawn from. It is no surprise that Lincoln Memorial appears in a lot of Turmoil build guides, as it features several door spawns that can be easily camped, making any build look fucking impressive. But where Turmoil suffers is when you are surprised in the open world, or you need single target damage, for the Lovebirds in the Paradise Lost Incursion, or Hunters in Countdown as examples. You have no control over where 50% of your damage will bounce, and it can bounce to tanks, drones, turrets, and movable barriers where the damage is largely wasted. With its long range of 30 meters, you can easily run into problems where the enemy being hit is not even engaging you, leaving you to deal with the enemies right in front of you with only half damage. But this can also be an advantage, letting you take down enemies you can't even see yet. I do think that all of us content creators could do a better job here. It is tempting to only use the best footage in build guides, like showing a Turmoil build when you have max momentum, nearly max memento stacks, are skilled at getting to max Heartbreaker stacks very quickly, and there are only 2 enemies in play, so that every last bit of damage Turmoil is dealing hits only the enemies that you want it to. Personally, I think it's a good piece for veteran players in niche content like speedrunning, and for all players in easier content. But I can't hand on heart recommend that you just slap Turmoil onto any old build when playing all the content in the game. Speaking of builds, more build guides are published than any other video type, but which build is good and which is not? What I will try to do each week is give you some insight into how the builds will play, their key features, whether they are old familiar builds doing the rounds again, or something brand new that might be worth trying. Let's start with some old favourites. I say this every week. Strikers, Heartbreaker and Hunter's Fury are great gear sets, and pretty much any build with them will be good, so any of the builds being shown are going to work just fine. Turmoil builds continue to be a favourite with content creators. I said my piece on them in the previous section, so you've been warned. Massive put out a post this week on the Exodus gloves. These gloves are a great combo with the Chameleon, letting you keep its buffs up near 100% of the time. The Chameleon is a great weapon this season, working in many different builds, 9 of which Dodd Regenboo runs through in his video. A new week and a new piece of gear to try in one-shot sniper builds. This week, it is not surprisingly the turn of the Handbasket. Any weapon that has high base damage like the Handbasket does will work well. All you need is to roll its talent to determined, use the Headhunter talent on your chest piece, and then stack headshot damage, which is what all of these builds do. The Handbasket has pretty good handling and a larger mag than the bolt action snipers, making it a good option for these sorts of builds. The ongoing directive gear set received a great buff back in Title Update 22 when the chest piece talent was changed to 50% amplified weapon damage. Good if you want something different, and top tier in groups due to the 20% amplified weapon damage buff it provides to the entire team. Pestilence builds continue to be an old favourite, including the double companion build that was the flavour of the month back when Perfect Companion was added to the game. So funny that we saw one of these last week as well. One thing with the Pestilence though is that Plague of Outcasts is a debuff and not a status effect, so stacking status effect attributes will not buff its tick damage. Albeit, it still makes a fun damage over time build with multiple dots hitting the enemies at once. 3 PvP builds this week to try out, which includes the classic PvP talents of Unbreakable and Perfectly Efficient. High survivability is often key in PvP, whether it be through high armor, armor regen, or self-healing. You don't see shotguns used that often as the primary weapon though, as they are a high skill weapon due to their short range, poor handling, and long reload. I do see quite a few armor regen builds like D-Werewolves coming up from time to time. I used one to complete the Master Difficulty mission from last season, and they definitely have a place in the game. But what I don't see often is Merciless builds. This is actually a strong rifle when it procs, and Virtuosa is an interesting gear set, but not one that you see too often, so this might be an interesting build to try out. It might just be the spring weather outside, but I'm feeling optimistic about The Division 2. There's a definite buzz around the Battle for Brooklyn DLC, and not just from within our community. Just this week I came across videos from Destin, Altito, Shadow's Cozy Inn and Born to Game, and posts from Rhino the Bouncer and Paul Tassi of Forbes, showing interest in the game. And just look at the number of views on the Battle for Brooklyn showcase announcement. With Destiny 2 seemingly in its death throes, the Brooklyn DLC is coming at the perfect time to take advantage. See you the same time next week.